This is, for all intents and purposes, a fire cane. Okay, we're talking about hurricane force winds with a firestorm attached to it. Now, here's what we are looking at. This is what's causing all these problems, these destructive winds with 100-mile-per-hour gusts. We're talking about the humidity, single digits, and that leads to explosive fire growth. We've got a pressure gradient, high pressure to the north, low pressure to the south, and those winds are being squeezed between the two pressure systems. And what that's doing is bringing those Santa Ana winds, powerful winds coming in here. Add to that the low humidity and the fact that since October 1st, less than 10% of average rainfall has fallen in Southern California. And again, those winds, the big problem. Wind gust 69 in Simi Valley, Los Angeles 63, Mission Viejo 52-mile-per-hour wind gust, and that's going to be the problem over the next 12 to 18 hours. Those wind gusts are going to be such that it's going to be hard for those firefighters to put up aircraft to be able to take a look at what's going on and to drop water on them, Lester.
What is this purple thing right here? You tell me. What the fuck is going on? It's spinning.
The fuck is that?
And then watch when I pan over here in a second. And this is all live screen footage from Los Angeles.
The fuck is that shit? Spinning around. And then what the fuck
And then what the fuck is that shit, bro? What is that?
Yeah, I got the map with you.
That's the Palisades fire. That's the one we've all been watching. But what is that? That's a fire. But that's not Hollywood Hills, because that's the Hollywood sign. Oh wait, do you see that flashing? What's that? Well, I don't think that's a fire flashing, but that's just emergency lights. What is that?
Wind gusts as high as 99 miles per hour fueled new destructive wildfires in the Los Angeles area overnight. You can see how the extreme winds had embers racing through this neighborhood in the Pacific Palisades. Homes and businesses burned to the ground as tens of thousands of people scrambled to evacuate, many abandoning their cars. At least 3 fires are burning in the LA area by early Wednesday with 0% containment.
Due to current events, I figured now would be a great time to tell you guys all about Smart LA 2028. Smart LA 2028 was a plan released in 2019 to redefine and restructure Los Angeles in time for the 2028 Olympics. Smart LA 2028 has many key points, one primarily being the transportation infrastructure to go for a car-free Olympics. Don't just take it from me, however, take it from Ted Ross, the Chief Information Officer of LA.
As a 3-time United States Digital City Award winner, the city of Los Angeles has been investing in the infrastructure, the apps, and the data tools to be a globally recognized smart city. But as technology evolves, so our smart city must evolve too. That's why we have developed our Los Angeles Smart City Strategy, known as Smart LA 2028. Check it out here.
Key points that they're looking to improve are infrastructure and community engagement, which may be hard since there's no community anymore. Some constraints on this project are funding and budget constraints because infrastructure is very important and very expensive. And piggybacking off that, another hurdle is the aging infrastructure. Much of LA's infrastructure, including roads, bridges, and utility grids, were built decades ago and requires significant upgrades or replacement. They're going to have to replace a lot now. With that comes retrofitting challenges. Adapting existing systems to modern standards is often more complicated and costly than building new infrastructure. How about that? It would be cheaper for them to just build new infrastructure instead of repair and fix the old. Traffic congestion. A lot of people living in LA means a lot of traffic. I guess it's kind of weird that a lot of people won't be living in LA now. Environmental concerns, because a lot of residents mean high carbon emissions from cars and high water usage, which we know LA is already struggling with the water usage because the firefighters said that there's no water to put out the fires right now. The hydrants are running dry. And as we know, wildfires are a big environmental concern. Regulatory and bureaucratic hurdles are a big concern as well because, it's going to be hard getting things approved when there's so many people living and working in LA. And stakeholder coordination. But I guess it's really not going to be that hard to convince people to fix a city that no longer exists. You're just building from the ground up, right? It's hard to get equity and public support because of gentrification concerns. Infrastructure improvements can lead to displacement in lower income communities, creating opposition to certain projects. But I guess there's not going to be much opposition now. And the digital divide. Technological integration, because integrating smart sensors to existing infrastructure is very complex. But again, I guess there's now not much infrastructure to have to work with. And public transit challenges, because with everybody living in LA, converting everybody to public transit was an uphill battle. And project timelines were under constraints because so many people live and work in LA. I guess it's lived and worked in LA. Now that you mention it, I'm actually pretty sure that Lahaina was going through the same thing and faced the same issues, right? What a coincidence.
You need to be packing your car immediately. Don't wait. Just pack your car. Photo albums, medications, birth certificates, social security cards, anything you cannot live without. Put it in the car in case it's slow. Because this is imminent. Do not wait for an official evacuation notice. If you think you should leave, get out. Get out.
I'm not one for a conspiracy theory necessarily. However, do you not find it interesting that this Puff Daddy case has been going on, and all of a sudden, how coincidental it would be if all of the elite's houses got burnt down in LA? I mean, I'm not saying that that's the case, that it's been done on purpose. These fires have been set on purpose. But it does make you sit and wonder, don't you just think it's like really convenient? I wouldn't be surprised if we started hearing that evidence has been lost within these fires. There's other things to take into consideration. Fires were set at a perfect time. Mel Gibson's doing some videos at the moment where has done some interviews where videos have been made, where he was talking about how water reserves have been emptied in California before this fire had happened, which he couldn't understand why they were doing this. But then he says there's a lot of things to do in LA that you can't understand. But yeah, the coincidence, of what's happening. And it's particularly wiping out the elite in terms of their family homes and stuff like that. It's very interesting. I'm not saying it's the case. I'm just saying it's interesting.
Let's take care of our mental and physical health first before we embark upon what is going to be a journey to rebuild these communities back and rebuild them better than they were when we started this fire. Rebuild them better than they were when we started this fire. Build them better than they were when we started this fire.
Please, for the love of God, tell me that I'm wrong. Did you know that in 2028, the Olympics is going to be held in Los Angeles County? But not just Los Angeles County, but it includes all of the northern regions of Los Angeles County. Places which include the Pacific Palisades, the San Fernando Valley, and Altadena. With just so happens to be the place that is burning right now. And then I keep hearing about 2028 Smart LA, which is Governor Newsom's plan to prepare Los Angeles County and all the surrounding areas for the influx of millions upon millions of people that will be coming for the 2028 Olympics. And Newsom has emphasized for a comprehensive recovery plan, which he's calling the Marshall Plan, for, get ready for this, LA 2.0. The entire reconstruction, which would cover over 40,000 acres. I mean, this is just for informational purposes only, but it's coincidence until it's not.
I know a lot of people relate to us because there's something that has happened in your life that you can relate to. So stay with me. The Getty's burning? Is it? Because didn't I tell y'all that? Didn't I tell y'all there will be an accidental explosion? Accidental fire? And the next thing you know, celebrities' homes would be on fire. Things would be on fire. I pray for the people in its path, but I also pray that it exposes the things that it needs to expose. But y'all have had that narcissistic person in your life, right? Where you're like, I could try to tell somebody until I'm blue in the face what happened. When it comes to you, you're never going to own up to it. You're never going to be honest about it. Don't expect that, right? Our focus belongs, and that's on the children. I don't care what happens to us. I don't care what anybody has to say about us. I don't care what somebody is going to lie about us, from we are AI to we are real to I don't even know. I don't give a shit. The line of threats of people saying they're going to murder us is getting so long that it's losing its sting. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, how many people have said, I'm going to kill you? Okay. Alright. It's whatever. Because my focus will never detour from the children. I will speak for those that are still in homes that they don't understand how they ended up there. I will speak for those and on the behalf of those who have never been able to speak before. I will continue to speak for the children who are dead and can't have a voice. I will continue to speak for those who are still trapped and don't have a voice. I will continue to speak for those who have been in a narcissistic relationship and still don't understand how to get out. I will continue no matter what happens. I will continue to stand for the children, because as an adult, that's what somebody failed to do in the first place. I will not detour from that. You don't scare me, and I know who my God is. So no matter what you do, kitty kitty, I will never move. Do you understand me? You're in my way. And a lot of the Army can say the same. How many survivors don't get to speak because how many smear campaigns and things that happened that people go with and people get messed into and misconstrued into? Let me give you something. I've given y'all so much, been so transparent with you. The Superior Court of Riverside, California, in Riverside County. My adoption was on June 6, 2014. The case number on my adoption paperwork. Here you go. You ready? Hashtag letter R, letter I, letter A, dash 14000041. If you want to go request that file and see, first of all, that my name is Allison Leilani Carter, and I was adopted at 20 years old, 20 years old, June 6, 2014, as an adult. That's true. I've been so transparent with everybody. I've been so transparent about everything that's going on. Why would I lie? Go ahead, go request it. Do you need it again? Superior Court of Riverside, California. The adoption date was June 6, 2014. Case number, hashtag RIA-14000400041. You think I'm bullshitting? Go check. Your story and message have never changed. No, it's not, because when it's the truth, it won't change. Thank you for being here. Now, usually we get backed into a corner sometimes with situations like this. You want to know why? Because we're damned if we do and we're damned if we don't. If we don't say anything, it continues to just snowball into bullshit. If we do say something, then sometimes it can create clickbait. Sometimes it can create negative attentions, brings views. So if you go onto YouTube, don't watch that shit. If you do watch it, I'm sorry. But if you have watched it, I want you to think how many hours has been taken. I'm talking over 10 hours at one point. And that's the amount of a full-time job. It's overtime. Why is somebody working overtime to take out a survivor? After, hey, kitty kitty. Now, I know that somebody has said, and these are threats. These are things that came to me. I did not watch any of that bullshit, neither did my mom. We got updated by a few angels. And they brought it to our attention. And I'm like, I don't know if it's the same week that I decided we did Hey Kitty Kitty. And then it's also the same week that I decided to say, let's do a virtual march for the children. And a virtual march can't be canceled. That's not canceled. Get on your platforms, utilize every platform, ask the hard questions, and talk about the children. That's not canceled. But the thing is you can't stop the internet. That's why I think some people are a little mad at me. I don't care. Next. I don't know if it was this march we're putting on this weekend. I don't know if it was the talk about MK Ultra. I don't know what angered people so bad that a wolf in Truth Teller clothing came out and said that they were going to kill us because they're Black Panther too. You guys have watched a lot of this. I'm not mentioning any names. It is what it is. You're going to probably see a lot of people jump up right after I turn this live off. Listen. If you pay very close attention, listen, somebody will tell you. You have a wolf in Truth Teller clothing. You have a prison convict who, if you look at the background, is known for beating the hell out of Black women. Somebody needs to call his parole officer, for number one. For number two, then you have, I don't even know if this is true or not, but you have a patient from the Patton Hospital criminally insane mental ward that is in San Bernardino, California, that is speaking and saying they're my surrogate. I don't know if it's true or not, but if this is the Patton patient that I do know of, again, Patton for the criminally insane patient that we know of, look it up. There's a record. If this is the case, this woman has supposedly 6 kids. Where's all of them? If you guys check, I put out a piece of evidence in on my TikTok. It's on my Telegram. If you go through those CPS reports range from 1994 to 2006. I met my mom, my mother, my twin right here, in 2009, 2008, 2009-ish. 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 Okay. So from 1994 to 2006, whose fault was that? Because damn sure wasn't my mom. It seems like a lot of people are projecting, I know it, they're projecting everything that they're guilty of, from selling drugs, abusing other children, abusing me. We're not going to talk about in the CPS report that, do you guys know what severe hyperthyroidism is? Do you know what it is? Hyperthyroid. There's hypo and there's hyper. Okay. And one of her kids has severe hyperthyroidism. She used to have these bulges in her neck. When I was about 12 or 13, 12 years old, I'm telling you, from the time, I've already told you, I've been into Chino Hills Hospital. I've gave you guys a lot. A lot that can connect the dots. I've always redacted everything. I never gave you any names. I haven't given you some stuff because I've kept shit redacted because there's minors on the case. There's other people on the case. I've backed up a lot because I'm like, some of these evil, demonic people, especially Rosemary, Satan's mother, is still alive. So I've backed up and I didn't give you guys some stuff because I was like, the dots will connect when they need to connect. But apparently, let's connect some for you. At the time, before I turned 12 or 13, I thought everything was normal in my life. I told you that several times. I thought the abuse was normal. I thought the rape was normal. I thought that the being put into my surrogate's bed at night in Benadryl was normal. Melatonin gummies, normal. Bombay gin and pineapple juice was normal. For 7 years old, I thought that shit was normal. I'm telling you right now, I was okay with it. Until I turned 12 or 13, I went to school and I started asking questions to other kids. Like, how does it work in your house? Now, I know black culture is different, but how does it work in your house? Now, the black culture, the kitties, the black kitties, the Black Panthers that I grew up with, they were very racist towards all white people. You guys can see that. You guys see how Black Lives Matter, a lot of those Black Lives Matter people are very racist. I mean, have a passion of hatred for white people. Y'all see that. It's going on all day, every day right now. But they had a hatred for white people. I mean, an absolute hatred. Okay? I couldn't have any white friends, couldn't be around any white people. Hated it. All right? Now, at 12 years old, what took me out the game was when my sister, I don't know what to call that. My sister, she has severe hyperthyroidism, and I watched my surrogate beat the hell. She used to say, I'm gonna beat you like a bitch off the street. She said it all the time. And she would try to kill us. And there was tapes in the back of her closet. We have those CPS reports too. They're posted on XO Odyssey. Scroll down. CPS came out so many times, but because of who was in the back pocket, nobody did anything. Everything was thrown out. Until one day, I was like, again, 12 or 13, and she had severe hyperthyroidism and her neck was bulging. Really, really crazy. And she pissed her off. So she was just beating the shit out of her. She would call her friends over to watch her do it. She was beating the fuck out of her. Okay? At the time, my sister was 16. All right? And I would never interfere because I'm like, if the thing is she got a check for everybody. So because of that, I was like, I'm not going to interfere because I got in trouble different. We all lived in the same house but went through different things in the same house. Okay? So she was trying to stand on her neck.
One day, he goes, it's just going to be the right wind and fire's going to start in the right place and it's going to burn through LA all the way to the ocean and there's not a thing we can do about it. He goes, we get lucky with the wind. He goes, but if the wind hits the wrong way, it's just going to burn straight through LA and there's not going to be a thing we can do about it.
Someone caught what appears to be a fucking orb flying down through the fire and smoke in California. You can clearly see it. It goes woo. Look like fucking Goku flying on a motherfucking cloud. A lot of talk's been going around about this fire and what started it. And nobody got answers. But like I said, this thing was caught on live TV. And multiple people said they seen it in real life. So my question is, what is it? Y'all tell me what the fuck this is. Look. You see that shit? Look like Goku flying through the sky. I seen the slowest comment ever talk about, oh, that's just a plane trying to fight the fire. What fucking plane do y'all know that goes that close to the fucking fire and can do an angle like this through the fire like that? That low to the floor. I'll wait. The fuck? Who the fuck they think they kidding? Chelsea Clinton?
He started the West Hills fire because that was started at a parking lot. He's going to come over here and light up this area.
Oh my gosh. No, this is crazy. I can't even believe it. Because I'm like
a 30-year-old guy, you know.
Crazy. Because I'm like, how does a fire jump literal cities?
I know. I can understand there, but all the way over
Exactly.
to West Hills,
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
okay.
all right.
Thanks for letting me know, guys.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this to help some of you guys out. There will be no accidental car accidents. There will be no accidental fires. No accidental explosions. No man-made earthquakes. We are not homicidal. We are a sound mind and body.
We're not homicidal.
We are not homicidal.
Containment, and now all evacuation orders have been lifted, reduced to warnings. Eyewitness News reporter Leo.
Hear me when I say this, 90s. Things are about to get worse. Pay attention. The next person that pops up with the same pattern, why don't you go do a little digging on that person? Why don't you go see why this might be an issue? Also check for, where is Allie and Shelly? Where this person starts the bullshit again.
This is the man who started the Los Angeles fires, and the story behind it will leave you speechless. Santiago Morales, a 28-year-old Mexican immigrant, was arrested for deliberately starting fires across the city, but the story behind his actions is both shocking and tragic. Santiago fled Mexico as an illegal immigrant, escaping the violent grip of a cartel in Michoacan. Living in constant fear and struggling to survive in Los Angeles, he found himself overwhelmed by desperation. Over 2 days, Santiago set 5 fires in carefully chosen locations. Armed with a gas canister, he moved under the cover of darkness, creating chaos no one could predict. When arrested, Santiago revealed his shocking motive. The cartel he fled from had found him. He believed that by creating widespread chaos, he could distract his enemies and buy himself time to escape. While his actions have left a city grieving, his story sheds light on the desperation in some face when trying to escape violence. Santiago's life may have been one of fear, but his choices have left scars on Los Angeles that will take years to heal. But for many, this tragedy raises questions about how such events can be prevented in the future.
Here's the scary truth about the California wildfire going on and why it's almost impossible to stop. I've lived in Los Angeles over 10 years now, and I've learned a few things about the wildfires here. Speed and intensity. Most California wildfires move up to 15 miles per hour. That's faster than most people can run. They destroy everything in their path in minutes. Size. California wildfires have burned millions of acres each year. The 2020 fires burned more than 4.3 million acres. That's bigger than Connecticut, y'all. Cost and containment. These wildfires literally cost millions of dollars to contain. In 2021, the Dixie Fire alone cost over $62.3 million to suppress. We're not talking about 3 million, 4 million. We're talking about 62 million and above. And then we have manpower, which is our firefighters. We have our firefighters that are working tirelessly in ridiculously dangerous conditions. Everyone's evacuating, they're running in. Sometimes it gets to the point where the state hires inmates to help put out the fires because the firefighters, they're exhausted, they need a break. And what happens when you run out of firefighters? You bring on inmates. True story, y'all. Another huge factor, water scarcity. Yes, it's possible to run out of water. It takes millions and millions of gallons of water to put out these fires. In California, the combination of drought and limited resources makes it really, really hard. Weather obstacles, like what's happening right now, the wind. The wind is insane right now. The wind is what's spreading the fire. Not only that, the wind can blow gusts of fire, like pieces of fires, to other areas of California and start another wildfire there. So wind is the biggest challenge. So when people are like, I thought the fire was in Palisades, like, why is it now in this area? And how is it all the way in that area? That's because of the wind, and it's literally picking up the fire, throwing it like a fireball to other areas of California. Air quality. The fires are emitting a ridiculous amount of carbon dioxide, ash, smoke. We are breathing that in every day. So even if you're miles away, you're still gonna suffer with the consequences of the smoke and the ash. And if you have asthma or any kind of lung issues, I highly recommend that you put on a damn mask or just stay the fuck inside. And then recovery time. We don't really talk about how it can take decades to recover from these wildfires, to the point sometimes where it can actually damage and affect the ecosystem for eternity. Like literally some ecosystems will never be the same because of California wildfires. So how can we prevent these wildfires? Honestly, humans are 80% of the time, humans are the cause of wildfires like this. Especially in California where it's very dry. Be careful with unattended campfires, be careful with fireworks. Or sometimes it's not caused by humans and the wind is really bad and you have a downed power line and boom, that's all it takes. That said, I know you're hearing a lot of things on the news, but now maybe you have a better understanding of how these fires start and why it takes so long to put them out. I'll keep you guys updated with the fires here. Please stay safe, stay aware, and take care of each other.
Police have just arrested an alleged arsonist suspected of deliberately starting the devastating Kenneth Fire in Los Angeles' celebrity enclave of Calabasas. The suspect, reportedly a homeless man in his 30s, was caught by citizens in Woodland Hills after allegedly attempting to set a fire on Ibarra Road. Hollywood stars are absolutely furious. Happy days. Legend Henry Winkler erupted on social media, demanding justice for the unimaginable pain caused, while other celebrities like Chris Brown and Elizabeth Chambers had been warning this disaster wasn't just nature's doing. The situation is beyond critical. 3 massive fires are now burning out of control across LA: Palisades, Kenneth, and Eaton. The fires have forced 180,000 people to evacuate, with another 200,000 on high alert. Celebrity homes, including those of Paris Hilton and Milo Ventimiglia, have been completely destroyed. One veteran firefighter of 20 years admitted, "I've never seen it this bad."
During a live broadcast of the Los Angeles wildfires, something terrifying happened. Viewers believe the news accidentally captured a UFO on camera. First, a mysterious purple orb appeared, spinning eerily in the smoky sky. Then, a blue orb joined in, adding to the bizarre spectacle. But the most chilling moment? An unidentified object suddenly darted across the air at mind-blowing speeds. What do you think this could be? A UFO, advanced technology, or something even stranger? Let us know your theories in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more spine-chilling videos like this one.
of the most disturbing problems in our world today is human trafficking, and particularly the trafficking of children. Our future is our children. Now, the first step in eradicating this crime is awareness. Go see Sound of Freedom.
Alright guys, where do we see a fire? Because I do not see one. It is currently, look at my phone, January 10 at 1:10.
You know how they said we were going to split into two different worlds? I'm definitely feeling like that's what's going on here. Because as I was scrolling today, I saw a lot of videos like that one. It wasn't just a Hollywood sign. I saw some people saying like, my house was on fire. This is what it looks like in this area. You keep scrolling and then you see other people saying, this is my house. This is my neighborhood. Everything is fine. There's no fires. I'm talking about same street, y'all. So what the hell is going on? The split between worlds and timelines isn't just some metaphysical abstract theory. It's literally something we're seeing play out in real time. People living in the same place experiencing completely different reality. It's like two frequencies trying to occupy the same space. They're not aligned, but I'm gonna break it down for y'all. The idea of jumping timelines is about vibrational alignment. You got one group of people tuned in to fear, chaos, and destruction, aka the fires, the hurricanes, shit like that. Let me say this. This is not to take away from the people who are experiencing this. I'm just trying to show the parallel between the two different worlds that we're seeing right now. The other group is tuned into a frequency of clarity, peace, and abundance. It's like two radio stations playing in the same room. It's like you can only hear the one you're tuned into even though they both there. Now let's say you in LA. You got group A that's scrolling their feed. They're seeing all the destruction, the fires, the chaos. People evacuating, the news headlines saying California is burned. The group B, same city, maybe even the same street. They out walking their dogs, posting videos, clear skies, all that. Both groups exist in the same 3D location. They're experiencing completely different versions of the same space. Why? Their consciousness is tapped into different timelines. When it comes to the Hollywood sign being on fire, I know a lot of people were saying that was AI generated, which it probably was. Even with that, that should make you wonder, like, we can't trust nothing that we see. And I do mean nothing. This is why I always tell y'all, question everything. What you believe is what you will see. You constantly consuming fear-based content or feeding into these narratives, that's the timeline that you're going to be on. Gravitate towards a timeline that's your reality. I was talking to V tonight, and she's in California as well, and she said that her son went down to his job, which is in LA, and there was nothing going on. It was business as usual. Now, I'm not just going off of what I see online. I'm talking about somebody that I know personally that lives in the city. Confirmed exactly what I'm talking about. Remember how I told you your emotions are your GPS? Fear and panic anchor you to a lower vibrational timeline. Gratitude, love, and trust lift you into a higher vibrational state. You definitely have to use your discernment when it comes to that trust. This is the level where you attract peace and clarity. But a lot of people plugged into the idea that reality is fixed. Some are waking up to the idea that their reality is malleable. Both are valid experiences, but they result in radically different timelines. Jumping timelines is about shifting your perceptions of reality. It's subtle, but the results are profound. You might wake up and see that things that felt heavy and chaotic in your life are suddenly not there anymore. It's like you woke up a whole new person. Have you ever felt like that? Make sure you get in the comments and let me know. Or you might notice people around you behaving differently. They more loving, more caring, more kind. You just stop noticing negativity altogether. That's because you no longer vibrate at that frequency. Every day when you get up, say, I choose a timeline of peace, abundance, and clarity. I know words are spells, so we're going to use them to our advantage. Next, you want to detach from that fear. Limit your exposure to fear-based narrative. If you want a better reality, you have to feel it first. You can't wait for the world to change before you feel good. Change yourself. Everything else will follow. Not just LA or the fires. This shit is happening everywhere. Look at the world right now. Are people thriving in joy and love while others are stuck in despair? Split is real. Two worlds, same space, different vibe. Question at this point is, what timeline are you choosing to align with? Let's talk about it. Like I said, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Still sending peace, love, and encouragement to anybody that has experienced the fires in LA. Peace, love, and light, and gratitude for watching.
The fires in LA are very reminiscent of Maui when you actually do a little digging and do a little research. You will see things for what they really are. Case in point, the color blue survived the fires in LA just like they did Maui. So you tell me what is going on, because all of this seems a little spooky to me. and the fact that by 2028, they want to transform LA into a smart city just in time for the 2028 Olympics. Things really don't add up with this at all, and it really seems like another situation just like Maui. You tell me what is going on, because none of this seems right to me. And again, this seems like another Maui situation.
There's a conspiracy theory going around about the LA fires that they're saying that these fires are intentionally caused so they can burn the evidence of the Diddy tunnels. Cool, great. The only problem I have with that is if you're burning stuff above ground, how would the tunnels be affected? They're underground. They're not going to be burned. Yeah, so that's my only problem with that theory.
A lot's about to come out. Another arrest is coming again. Watch for those fires. Explosions make fires too. Explosions make accidental fires too. And then, oops, we don't know how that happened. And then you look into it and you see that it's tied to something that's tied to something that's tied to something that's tied to trafficking. And then you realize, oh, it wasn't just an explosion or a fire. It wasn't an accident.
It's been a non-stop battle for crews trying to contain the Franklin fire across Malibu, and it's forced some 6,000 residents from their homes. Since Monday, it's consumed more than 4,000 acres, and with it, several houses. Nearly 2,000 first responders at local, state, and federal levels are working tirelessly to establish containment lines.
You need additional assistance?
Joining the effort is the Community Brigade, a group of more than 40 volunteers in Malibu, including doctors, filmmakers, and even a judge.
When there's a fire that is impacting our area, we make ourselves available and hit up the incident commander and say, hey, we've got X amount of brigade members and we're here to support you. How do you want us?
To Keegan Gibbs, it's personal. His family lost their home back in 2018 to the Woolsey fire. It was one of hundreds of structures lost.
For me, this has been kind of like an emotional healing process almost from what we went through with Woolsey, and to be able to reconnect with fire in a positive way, to me, it gets me emotional. I'm really proud of what we've all built together.
This is one of several structures wiped out by the fire. It was a little guest house. You can see the big screen TV there on the wall. It's a total loss. Right now, the fire's burning in steep terrain that's nearly inaccessible, but the fierce wind that was driving the flames, well, that's calmed down, and cooler temperatures are in the forecast. Might even get a little bit of rain.
First, before we embark upon what is going to be a journey to rebuild these communities back and rebuild them better than they were when we started this fire.
This is one of the homes that survived the Pasadena wildfire, and the owner of this home also has one in the back. One of them burnt and one of them didn't. Check this shit out.
I talked to the owner of this house right here in Pasadena. I talked to the owner. The owner does not have a smart meter on this house, on the front part of his house.
Smart meter.
There's no smart meter. The back house is the part of the house that had the smart meter, and everything in the back of his house is burnt. No smart meter. Smart meter.
So I go research this shit, and then I came across this video about a retired engineer refusing to let the state install a smart meter on his home. Check this out.
It's obvious Norbert Slowinski does not want Duquesne Light to install a so-called smart meter on his property. So you've essentially put a chain on your meter.
Yes.
The retired mechanical engineer says smart meters are dangerous.
The smart meter is not
Listen
safe
what he
for the following
say.
reasons. Again, it emits high-frequency radio waves, and you don't feel them, you don't know about them, but they penetrate your body and they can cause health problems later on. My bedroom is right next door, and it will emit high-frequency waves, so I'm worried about my health and my children's health. They catch fire because there's very high voltage inside.
You heard what he said on that last part. I'ma drop a part 2 showing y'all who owns all of those smart meters in those areas that burn. Until then, let me know what y'all think in the comments.
The 2025 Economist magazine cover may have shown us something rather interesting when it comes to the Los Angeles fires. So let us go ahead and bring up the 2025 Economist magazine cover, which was created last year. And as soon as you bring up the cover, you will see something pretty interesting. At the very top, you will see what looks like to be a city, and behind the city to the right, you will see what looks like to be fire. And to the left of this city, you will see what looks like to be explosions. When this cover was released, I first thought this city was either New York or Philadelphia, but take a look at this video that was captured as these fires were raging, and tell me, does this not look like what this magazine cover is showing us?
Never, ever seen anything like this. I've been living here for 6 years. There's so much smoke that it is blocking the sun. You can actually see it. This is wild. See how dark it is over here. This is where the Eden fire is, over in there.
After seeing that video, there is no way that's a coincidence. I don't know who the original uploader is of that video. I'm sure there's a way to find out, but there are many people sharing that video on TikTok. When it comes to the city above the magazine cover, which now I believe to be Los Angeles, there also happens to be something pretty interesting above the city as well. If you take a look, you can see the planet Saturn. Matter of fact, the planet Saturn is attached directly to this city. And there are a lot of things we can talk about when it comes to Saturn. A lot of different theories revolve around this planet. And if you take this definition here of Saturn's return, which is all about change, transforming, and evolving, and go back to the 2025 Economist magazine cover, and taking a look at Saturn attached directly to this city, which is now believed to be Los Angeles, what are they trying to tell us here? You take a look at the fires and the explosions behind the city as well, and they are telling us that this city will be undergoing change, will be transforming, will be evolving, will be its better self, its more mature self. Taking this from this article here, it says, while fire isn't directly linked to a Saturn return in astrology, the concept of fire can be metaphorically used to describe the intense, transformative, and sometimes challenging nature of this astrological period, signifying a period of significant change and personal upheaval as you confront limitations and mature into a new phase of life, essentially experiencing a baptism by fire during your Saturn return. About 2 months ago, a sacrifice by fire as well, a house fire in Los Angeles when it came to a Rothschild, and how we knew that story was very fishy because they let us know that it took exactly 33 minutes to put out the fire, not approximately 30 minutes or a half an hour. No, it was exactly 33 minutes, which was also a pretty odd story. When news first broke out about this Rothschild passing away in this mysterious house fire in Los Angeles, they said the individual was 87, but it came out he was much younger. His name was Will Rothschild, I guess being confused with another William Rothschild who is said to have owned this home. Just again, a very odd story.
Here's an update on the California wildfires as of Tuesday, January 14th, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. These fires have killed at least 24 people, destroyed more than 12,000 structures, and scorched more than 60 square miles. Firefighters are now battling a new brush fire called the Auto Fire that erupted on Monday night in Ventura County, northwest of Los Angeles. Here is where all the active fires currently stand, according to the CAL FIRE website. Palisades Fire, 23,718 acres burned and 14% containment. Eden Fire, 14,117 acres burned and 33% containment. Hearst Fire, 799 acres burned and 97% containment. Auto Fire, 56 acres burned and 0% containment. Firefighters are grappling with difficult conditions as they fight the Los Angeles wildfires, with strong winds expected in the next 24 hours. Forecasters posted, quote, a particularly dangerous situation red flag wind warnings for Tuesday morning through noon Wednesday, saying winds could be be strong enough to cause, quote, explosive fire growth. Evacuation orders have been issued for 92,000 residents of Los Angeles, while 89,000 others are in evacuation warning zones, meaning they may be required to leave at any moment. The Oscars have delayed their nominations until January 23rd amid the LA fires. This is an ongoing situation, and Brute will be covering the story as it develops. Follow along for more updates.
Look what Mel Gibson, actor, producer, film director, look at what he said.
Sort of look, oh, is it on purpose? Which, it's an insane thing to think. But one begins to ponder whether or not there is a purpose in mind. One thinks that the resources...
I got the whole interview here. I'm going to let you watch it.
The capabilities of the men will be on standby, that they'll be able to cope with any situation that comes up. But apparently, some people were asleep on the job, mainly our leaders there. But, you know, that's something they have to live with. And but that's something the community has to live with. And it's really sad. I mean, I have many friends that are, you know, looking for a place to put a roof over their heads, and kids, and you know, they're traumatized. So, someone should answer for it, but we'll see. I think we know who the culprits are. In fact, my son he's a member of the volunteer fire brigade. He sort of interfaces between LA County Fire and people, and they assist them where they can during, before, and after the blaze. And apparently the residents in Corral Canyon caught an arsonist up there. And the guy was all tooled up with fire gear and equipment and stuff like that, and ready to go. And he had been lighting fires. But they corralled the guy in Corral Canyon and gave him to the police. So
yeah, apparently
there are people actively going around looking for these conditions. Yeah.
Yeah, apparently, Mel, that individual was never charged. It's a very confusing set of facts because apparently he was reportedly trying to light things on fire, but it's not the fires, I guess, that they're... I mean, it all seems very bizarre, but they have not ruled out that arson could have started the first fire. There's obviously still investigating this, and at the same time, Mel, there are numerous complaints, as you alluded to, that the fire hydrants did not have water or water pressure, and the LA fire chief herself reacted. Watch this.
My stance on this is when a firefighter comes up to a hydrant, we expect there's going to be water. We don't control the water supply. Our firefighters are there to protect lives and property and to make sure that we're properly trained and equipped. That's my position on this. So if there's no water, I don't know how the water gets to the hydrants.
Mel, reaction to that?
Well, you know, I know they were messing with the water, letting reserves go for one reason or another. They've been doing that a while. California has a lot of problems that sort of baffle the mind as far as why they do. And then in the events like this, you sort of look, oh, is it on purpose? Which, it's an insane thing to think. But one begins to ponder whether or not there is a purpose in mind.
So this is what his house looked like before the fires. You don't need an after photo because there's nothing left. But I don't know, man. What do you guys think? Like, he's saying some crazy stuff. People are comparing this. I've seen somebody was comparing it to the Hawaii fires, saying that, you know, some crazy stuff is going on. Or maybe that they're just trying to push him out of California. I mean, this could be natural. It could be global warming. You know, it could be all kinds of stuff. Maybe there wasn't arson, but let me know what you guys think in the comments, because I'm in Florida and these Category 5 hurricanes are coming through. Something's going on. I don't know what it is.
Can you guys explain something to me? How are the houses destroyed, but all of the fucking trees are intact? How? Could just somebody enlighten me? Intact. All those black spots, those are all trees. Intact. But the houses are gone. Trees intact. intact trees. The trees are intact, but the houses are burned. It doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense.
The fog is back.
Elon, what's your take on this mysterious chemical fog spreading across the U.S.?
Joe, have you ever heard of Project Veil? It's an old classified program rumored to test atmospheric control systems. Think about it. This fog isn't just weather. It's too specific, too targeted. There are reports of strange metallic tastes, headaches, even radio interference. Some conspiracy theorists believe it's not fog at all. They think it's a controlled release of nanotechnology, microscopic machines designed to monitor or modify human behavior. Sounds crazy, right? But we already know governments are experimenting with drones and advanced tech for surveillance. What if this fog is their cover story? And here's the wild part. Some of the areas affected line up with the locations of secret underground bases. Coincidence? Maybe. Or maybe it's all part of a larger test to see how people react before rolling out something much bigger.
Have you noticed how the LA fires always seem to hit specific areas? Here's a wild theory. Some people believe it's not just nature at work. What if certain locations are being cleared for new high-tech developments or secret projects? Think about it. Prime real estate suddenly becomes cheaper after a fire. Some even claim satellite technology could be used to start pinpointed fires. Could this be a modern land grab disguised as a natural disaster? Coincidence? Or something more?
Hey, yo, I'm not the type of person to get sick. I don't know if you can hear it right now, but I'm all stuffed up. I think it's got something to do with this. Look at what it looks like out here. Every night, this fog keeps rolling in. And it's like, if you look hard enough, you can see it's like little particles. You see it? It's like brushing through. I mean, obviously, fog is water droplets, but I don't know. I just moved to Florida. I've never experienced anything like this before, especially here. And it's so thick. I'm gonna get a time lapse of it and throw it in here.